Okay, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. So this morning, let's have a conversation as we always do. This cost of living protests, call it hardship protests, whatever. In a sense, anything but bad governance protest, but that might be arguable. So let's talk about the cost of living protest. It has a number of other names. So what exactly is going on? That's really the question. It was supposed to be a protest, and well, there are those who still would define it as a protest, but then suddenly we began to see different offshoots of the same thing. Lagos seemed to be, by and large, fine, in the sense that just looking at the papers this morning, businesses open in peaceful Lagos, but bank looting over in Kaduna, military is talking tough, and that is because you saw those pictures of some people actually flying Russian flags. The people in the Russian embassy have been quick to say that it has nothing whatsoever to do with us. We don't know anything about this. We're not in any way, shape, or form concerned. But we've seen no doubt on social media, you'd have seen tailors churning out these Russian flags. This has prompted the military. The military have now told us that, that's a treasonable act and we are on the tails of those kind of people. And then it even goes worse. People are talking, that is, some of those protesters are talking about, well, some of those improbable things that they were asking about in the first instance. This whole protest, they want a return to fuel subsidy, for example. I think that's the main one. And there are those who are saying that, look, these things, that it's not rocket science. But perhaps, as we were saying yesterday on the program, government could have done a bit of a better job on explaining these issues. By the time the president came into office, there were no funds for, what do you call it? There were no funds for this fuel subsidy. Simply not. At the very, very best, maybe till the end of June, and that was it. So it doesn't matter who had come into office. It happened to be the president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This is the situation we'd have had on our hands, and because it is doing us some good. That kind of talk is not really going to go down well with some people who want an instantaneous fix. And this is where we are. So on this fifth day, is it fifth or sixth day of the protest, we have not heard a conclusive voice from those who are organizing the protest to say that, you know what, I think we can fold our tents and go back home now, and everything will be okay. In fact, there were curfews in some states in the north that seems to have borne the brunt of all of this. There were cases where the military, the government in those areas had, proclaimed a curfew, and there were people who were actually defying the curfew. Now, when we say people, you look at these people, they're children. They're children. So you begin to wonder what is going on, because these children don't even know what the issues are. They don't know what they're protesting about. The occasional brave reporter has sought from some of them, what is this about? What do you think it's about? All they are doing is that they're carrying stones and indeed throwing these stones at law enforcement. So it's in that context that we'll be asking this morning, what exactly is going on now? Is this a protest? And this is going on against the backdrop of warnings, as there were assurances given that, yep, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria does guarantee its citizens the right to peaceful protest. However, they must be lawful, and where they are not is where they begin to infringe on our insecurity and begin to worry people, scare people, cost us a lot of money, cost us lives and limbs. And what if this is really a protest, and if it was warned about that protests in Nigeria are known to go south pretty quickly. Even Ebun Oluonagorua, is that? Yeah, Ebun Oluonagorua. Yeah, that's right. That's his compound surname, Ebun Oluonogorua, at one point was saying that it should just be one day and please go back home. Nobody, well, he hasn't got the response he would have liked, going by all the news. And so you begin to look at when the people are saying that it's okay to start a protest, but are you sure you can stop it when you need to? For the moment, let me just pause here and bring on, and please keep your calls coming, because we want to know, the question is, what exactly is going on now? Well, Mr. George from Ikeja is on the line. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
Uncle Yori, what is going on, we all know it's not about protest or about hunger. It's about disgruntled elements in the society who could not win elections on the ballot and want to overthrow the government at all costs. I have said it a number of times on this program, and I have every evidence to believe that that is the case. Uncle Yori, show me one country where there have been economic reforms that did not come with pain. Our neighbor here, Ghana, they went through economic turmoil for over 11 years. Did you see them on the streets like this? Did you see them destroying the little that was left? They struggled and managed to overcome it. Today, they are better off for it. If you say you are hungry, what is the cause of the hunger? Everybody is blaming President Tinubu, but nobody seems to be talking about what he has done. Although the government has some blame in the process. Even myself, as a political watcher, Uncle Yori, when the president read out his achievements within this 1 year during that broadcast, I discovered that I did not know about 30% of the things he has done. So the communication between the government and the people is not yet there.
Okay.
I have said it, I've suggested it before. There should be everyday press briefing about what the government is doing. That's what is done in other advanced democracies.
Yeah.
Especially in this age of social media, where people just manufacture news for their own purpose and sell it, and then they have ready-made buyers.
Indeed. I hear you, Mr. George. Well, sorry, was there some more? I wanted to sort of come in and give other people rooms to call in as well. And also, thank you very much for calling in, Mr. George. And also to say that, you know, we have been sort of cautioned, commentators have cautioned that one should be careful about glibly putting it all down to opposition politics, especially as you started off, Mr. George, by saying that those who didn't, co-contestants that didn't win, you sort of silently fingering them that they might be at the bottom of this. I think you yourself must have heard of people saying that we need to be very careful about that because it could be oversimplifying the matter. But there is absolutely no way that we don't see here that there are those who are not interested in just a protest. After all, what is the objective of a protest? That is to get the attention of government. Now, President Tinubu has spoken. And even in that, there have been complaints about when did he speak and what did he say. But there you go. A lot of Nigerians might indeed be, the same thing with you, that I didn't even know. There were 30% of those things that I didn't know about. So the government can definitely do a much better job of communicating with us. That's just to make that commentary. There are those who are saying that to put it all down to the opposition could be to sort of be oversimplifying the matter. There is clearly a hardship in the land in terms of the cost of living and getting on with our lives. But is this what we have now? Is this that? Mr. Mohammed in Abuja, good morning to you, sir. They told me that Mohammed was on the line from Abuja, but is he still there?
I'm hearing you, Mr. Yori, I'm hearing you.
Okay, I have invited you to please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, we listened to Mr. President on Sunday.
Yeah. We can hear you. Continue.
Yeah, is it Saturday or Sunday? I think on Sunday.
That's right.
Morning, yes.
That's right.
Yeah, all the programs he rolled out were very much appreciated. But what we are saying is that the president should do more. We voted for him. Surely, wallahi, Uncle Yori, I've never voted. It's only this time around that I voted for Tinubu. I can swear with Quran, I'm a Muslim. I have never voted in my life. But because of this Muslim ticket that we believe is coming with justice, equity, fairness to his people. Because anything Muslim, because that is how the Prophet lived. He don't sleep until when all his people ate. The Prophet lived with Muslims, with Jews, with Christians in Medina at that time. He even lived with those that are not believers. And he made sure all of them distribute the wealth to each and every organization or group equally. And he made sure they live peacefully in very well. But what we are seeing today is different from what Muslim ticket is all about. What we are asking the president to do is that this money he's giving to governors, he should not give them that money. He should at least pay the subsidy, even if he's not going to pay all, he should pay half. So that, because everybody knows that this fuel subsidy removal is the cost of everything. For him to announce only and say today, fuel has come back to 500 naira, I swear to God, everything will come down. Just 500 is not. He should not say he removed the fuel subsidy. It's just for president to announce that today fuel is going to be sold at 500 naira. I swear to Almighty God, everything will come down. Just 500. We are not saying that you should come back to 100 or 200 or 300 naira. The president only to say, because Nigerians are working with, this is perception. We are talking of perception management.
Okay.
The people listen to the president and then take cue from there. Wallahi, if the marketers hear that the president says fuel today is 500, nobody will say no. Please, the president should look into it. Copy the prophet he is copying, because Muslim ticket is talking about justice, fairness, equity, and whatever good life.
All right.
Please, he should implicate it. He should replicate it, please.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. Mohammed. And, you know, this is part of the situation that we have. And that's why we really are inviting calls to come in. So we should sort of get a sense of what do people think is going on here? Our friend, Mr. Mohammed from Kano there, he brought up the election issue. In fact, the candidature, the Muslim ticket, it went into some religious aspects. And then one begins to wonder how it is that we understand this. Because I don't know that there has been any religious connotation to this whole matter at all. We saw in Kano, we saw pictures of attacks on at least one mosque. And that is almost inconceivable, but it did happen. So why would Muslims be attacking mosques reportedly? So you see, one doesn't quite get how this is coming about. There is hardship, of course, there is hardship. As to going to the president, maybe too many people don't understand, cannot by fiat pronounce a price. He cannot say fuel is now going to be this or that, coming from where it is now. Although there have been critics of that whole idea, it was said that fuel, the pump price of fuel was going to be dictated largely by market considerations, and that we could not continue to make up by way of subsidy that which would have been lost by the false pump price that we hitherto were adopting. It's a very difficult thing because it does take money out of people's pockets, so to speak. But I don't think we have understood it or informed ourselves enough. Certainly the presidency probably hasn't done as much as it can, that these are things that we don't have any wiggle room over. The money is not there. Maybe you can't be blander than that. The money simply isn't there, is what has been explained to us. But here we are. Mr. Mohammed has suggested that, look, if the president can do him this one favor, then a lot of things will, go back the right way up. Well, I don't know. Okay, how do you explain, and I'm not asking this of Mohammed in particular, how do you explain the Russian flags? How does anybody explain foreign flags on our soil? How does anybody explain the young men that are saying, Mr. Putin, referring to the president over there, we need you, we need your help? What is going on? Who is behind these people? Who is sponsoring those flags? You might have seen tailoring workshops where these flags are being churned out. Who is sponsoring? Who is paying? Who is paying these people to do this? Well, the military say that they are after them. In fact, they say they have arrested some. But these are very, very, very concerning issues if this was actually a protest. How did protest about our cost of living being very tight? How did it morph into inviting foreign, governments to come to into our matter? I have another call. Is it from Bauchi? Who is on the line? Mr. Hassan. Good morning, Hassan, in Bauchi.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for calling in. So how do you see it? What do you, Hassan, think is going on here?
Yeah, good morning, sir. What I think here is the handiwork of mischief makers, miscreant. Honestly, protest is only meant to express your anger or what you are protesting for, while it takes a dimension of demonstration, which is not the value of this country. And the leadership and the political leaders, in terms of the hardship we are experiencing, coming into the term of understanding the political nature of this protest. Thirdly, if you can see correctly, as you said, people are putting which is offense. I think has an ulterior motive, and which I urge our security agencies to dig down with the intelligence gathering and know what happens. Then they can now expect a lot of things, and let us have truth. Mr. President, look at what he said. He gives pushing it down to the governors, and the governors are not happy with what happened because of the autonomy of local government given by the press. The cost of money is coming, and now try to this country so that the hardship will now be less, the anger will now come less, so that everything will come to the common man on the street very easy. If you look at the issue of this particular fuel subsidy, it is not even started from the current administration. It started from the previous administration, which there was an extension of additional budget up to June. When the Mr. President came in and now saw it coming, then during the transition committee, he has to act and tell the whole world that subsidy is not here again. That is the truth. Now, Nigerians are protesting. Governors are not helping matters. If you look at it, it is not even division between religious or ethnic group. It is division that hunger gets us together.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for calling in. I appreciate your call. That hunger is bringing us together. Remember when the first caller came on, Mr. George, I had said that we have to be careful about putting all this whole thing down to politics, because we don't have incontrovertible evidence. Let's just stay like that and not just jump on it. But when you look at the things that are going on, it's not a far-fetched place that is a far-fetched notion. Otherwise, how did cost of living, tight cost of living, harsh cost of living prices, how did that morph into inviting Russia? And in fact, I think there was another country, the country escapes me now, that was also involved, that was seen somewhere in Jos. And it just doesn't add up. But we are just being careful here because we have to be sensitive to all concerned. And so that's why I'm not going to say on this program that this is the work of political naysayers or, the opposition. I don't know. It might well be, it might not be, but that's not where the focus here. The question is, what exactly is going on now? We have tailoring workshops, churning out Russian flags. We have people, we have youth. We have youth, very young people, very, very young people. We're talking about people that are not even 20, that are taking charge of the protest. We have people who, in the north especially, who don't know what the issues are, but they're out there. They're taking it as some sort of a fiesta, almost like an Egungun festival, but a very dangerous one. I have someone in from, where is that caller coming in from?
I'm calling from Jos.
Oh, you're calling from Jos. Good morning to you, sir.
Yes.
Tony, good morning.
How are you?
Very good. Very good, sir. What do you think is going on here in our country?
Well, it's not a hidden thing. We all know that cost of living is high. You understand me? It's not a hidden thing. A black man can see it. But what caused the cost of living? That is what we fail to ask ourselves. What caused the cost of living? What caused hardship in this country? We fail to ask ourselves. Was there Boko Haram during Obasanjo's regime in 1999? Was there Boko Haram throughout Obasanjo's regime for 8 years? Was there a hardship? Was there all manner of criminality we see in this country? Was there like that during Obasanjo 1999 as a civilian president? You see that after Obasanjo handed over government to Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, Nigerians developed Boko Haram from Maiduguri. And that Boko Haram was within the north, from Umaru Musa Yar'Adua to Jonathan. They were disturbing farmers in the north, doing all manner of things they are doing, stopping farmers from going to their farmland to cultivate food for Nigerians. When issues of this happens, and we cannot collectively arrest it at the beginning of it, that's what we are starting, the consequences we are seeing today. And when Buhari came in for his 8 years, this is spread all over the state, all over the state of the country, all over the local government of the country. Boko Haram is disturbing farmers, asking farmers to come and pay dues before they can access their land. So, can food come from heaven when farmers are no longer on their farmland? And today we are talking of hardship. I think probably that hardship started today. That hardship started within a year. Even from Plateau here, we knew how they raised many houses, put innocent people at IRDP. You understand me? Take over their land. You understand me? Take over their land they are cultivating. In Plateau here, they are known for potato and Irish in large quantity. When they started taking them from their farmland, they cannot produce enough again. And today we are talking of what do you call it? Hardship, all manner of things. It's unfortunate for this country for not to stick to issues in the name of politics.
Okay.
All right. In the name of politics.
Well,
I think we are talking enough on all these issues. What should we be?
Well, thank you very much for calling in. But let's return to the main matter and, valuable insights that you've given. But let's return to the main matter about this protest. What is a protest by definition? Is it to scatter the whole place? Is it to turn the whole country upside down? Is it to begin to threaten a constitutionally elected government with all sorts of undemocratic behavior and endings? Is that the purpose of a protest? Of course not. Nobody will say that that is it. In fact, maybe the simplistic way to look at it is that it's to call the attention of government to issues, and that has been done. The president has said that he is called. He has always made himself available. He still is available. ECOWAS have joined with that plea. You might have seen in the papers that ECOWAS has also joined in the plea that Nigerians should please listen to their president and heed to his the invitation that, look, I am here. Here we are. Let there be dialogue. But then that's another problem. I don't know how many people want to come out and say that, yep, we are the people, since the whole mob out there can't come for dialogue. So we don't even know for sure. We don't know for sure who exactly you want to talk to. But nevertheless, the leadership, the presidency has said that, President Tinubu, never mind the presidency, has said that he's available for dialogue. But he's going to have to dialogue with some people, with someone. We don't know who that is. So it goes back to the question, what is going on? It was supposed to be a 10-day protest. I don't know. Here we are, day 6, whatever. We don't have a situation, apart from Lagos that we cited and some other places, where they are slowly returning back to normal. But the waste, the carnage, the president pointed out, we're going to have to spend money on these things. We're going to have to replace them. You can't replace the lives that have been lost. And these things were warned about, you know, excruciatingly, painfully so. It was warned about. Those who were in charge didn't listen. And now those lives have gone with this protest. Okay. Our guest, Nelson Ekujimi, a human rights activist, will be joining us after we return from this break. But please keep those calls coming in, because one is really befuddled. What exactly is going on now? Is this still a protest, or has it turned to something else? When the army is beginning to make statements that nothing like a coup will happen in this place. No military person is going to even countenance such a matter. There are those who actually are seeking government change. So how do you blame the first caller who called in and said that this is all political? Stay with us. We'll be right back, and then we'll continue with this conversation. Okay, welcome back, and we're looking at the ongoing protest. It's a protest that's been curiously labeled something protest against bad governance, not against hardship, not against a cost of living, but bad governance. That in itself, that very nomenclature begins to say to you, what is going on here? What bad governance? It's an opinion, and that everybody is running with that. But we have this protest, and Kaduna Zaria boil, over 700 billion naira lost in 5 days. I'm reading from the headline of one of the papers. Military talks tough as pro-Russia rallies spread. Military warns of treason as protesters fly Russian flags. You see, the lamp has been robbed. The lamp has been robbed. The genie has now escaped. How do you get the genie back into the lamp? I guess that's what we're looking at now. Good morning to you, sir. Alhaji Ahmed in Jos.
Yeah, good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. How is your day?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to make the best of it.
Yeah.
Let me ask you the question. What do you think is going on? What do you, as a citizen, think is going on?
Yeah, Uncle Yori, let us call a spade. You see, what is really going on in this country? The level of illiteracy in this country is very high, very, very high. Let us look at it in some perspective. You see, when we are saying they are protesting for hunger in the country, protesting for hunger in the country, does that require for some people, for a level of some people, to go and to move in a manner of illiteracy, go and bogle some shops, carry a lot of things? Is that a protest? Can we call that a protest? That is not a protest. You see, let me just tell you the truth. The only thing is that we need so much orientation. I don't know what the orientation agency, I don't know what they are doing in this country. I don't know their job. You see, you understand? So we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do. If you look at the protest, you will see in the north, you will see all these small young boys that are supposed to be in school protesting for what?
what it's
They are
all
supposed
about.
to be under their parents,
Sure.
protesting on the street, bogus shops.
No, okay.
Is that a protest of hunger?
Okay. Alhaji Ahmed, thank you very much for calling in.
So please, you're welcome.
Thank you, sir. We really do appreciate your call. Well, as I said, we have two guests online as well. That is, I mean by that, joining us remotely. There's Ambassador Innocent Nduanya, Deputy President, National Youth Council of Nigeria, as well as Comrade Nelson Ekujimi, that I had mentioned earlier, a human rights activist. Good morning to you, gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us. Okay, I'm hoping that you can hear us. Let me try you one at a time. Ambassador Nduanya, can you hear us? Ambassador Innocent Nduanya, can you hear us? Okay, let me try Comrade Nelson Ekunjimi. Good morning to you, comrade. Can you hear us? Okay, it's going to be one of those kind of days. So I'm sure we'll fix that and we'll be able to speak with them. So we have a hunger protest that has been labeled something against bad governance. The president has spoken, and he's.
I can hear you.
Oh,
I can hear you.
Okay, is that comrade or the ambassador?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, that's Nelson.
Nelson Ekujimi online. I can hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Nelson Ekujimi.
Sir.
Okay, let me just check. Let me just check with the ambassador. Ambassador Nduanya, can you hear us? Okay, so we have you. We have you. You know, Comrade Nelson Ekujimi. Well, the same question that I asked everybody else who had called in on this kind of a special aspect to the program is just what is going on now? What started out as a protest? What do we think we have on our hands now? And people, at least the president has spoken now, so you can't say you haven't caught the attention of the president. Why isn't everybody going about, why hasn't it been called off yet? And everybody going about their business. What's your perspective, sir? I fear I might have lost you again. Okay, because I just asked a question and you can't have heard. Can I just check that? Comrade Nelson, can you hear us? Okay, so that's the sort of principal question, that is the theme question we're asking.
I can hear you loud and clear. I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Did you hear the question I asked as to what's your perspective as to what...
I can hear you if you can hear me.
I can hear you. So if you can hear me, I asked the question in the light...
I heard you loud and clear.
And you didn't answer, sir. Okay, go ahead now and answer, please. What do you think is going on?
Well, I think if we don't... Can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
I said, good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning.
If we don't want to belabor the issue, the DSS had alerted Nigerians of, this security of life and property, faceless and unknown organizers of the protests, even before the protest started. I think Nigerians need to go back to the DSS alert. Then the Nigerian police also followed suit to alert Nigerians that this protest is not about hunger, as been erroneously claimed. It's about people wanting to overthrow a democratically elected government, just like they did in 2020, using the acronym EndSARS, and they failed. The EndSARS protest of 2020 occurred just after the 2019 general elections. Same thing we are witnessing in 2024, the general election. So you can do the arithmetic. The protest has been won.
Thank you very much, sir. That's the second time.
And anarchy.
Okay, that's the second time we've heard that this morning, and it is your prerogative. We'll come back and maybe exploit some more. But in the meantime, Reverend Dominic has called in from Alimosho. Good morning, Reverend.
Good morning, Yuri. Can you hear me?
Very well.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you clearly.
Okay, my light is off. Yuri, I am surprised about the answer Nelson is giving. But let me give you the answer to the question you're asking. What is going on?
Your perspective.
What is going on is two things. One is ignorance. One is illiteracy. And again, the young boys that carry flags, do they even know the flag of a nation they're carrying? The answer is no. So ignorance, illiteracy. If you want to get the picture of what's happening, listen to the interview the governor of Kaduna State gave a few years ago. He explained it very well. That what is happening in the north, whether somebody say it or want it to happen that way, or so that, idea, why did it work more in the north than the south or southeast? Ignorance, illiteracy, poverty, and they blame it to the past leaders. So that is by the way.
Well, you can say it's by the way, sir. You can say it's by the way, but what you've just said, what you've just said is leading people to ask, so who are those behind these young, ignorant people that you're speaking about? Who are the people?
Are you talking?
Yes, I was. I was saying, I thank you for your suggestion that this is what is really going on. So who are those that are behind these people? Who is funding the sewing up of those flags that they don't know anything about? They're not even holding them the right way up all the time. Who are those behind it? Reverend Dominic, please continue.
Yes, sir. In any nation, you don't have opposition party. That nation do not practice democracy. Opposition must have their say. But by calling, we have the voice of oppositions, which we can hold responsible if something goes on. We say this man is that man, so nobody wants to speak again. To avoid saying he is one who caused the trouble. But the nation that practices democracy must have opposition party. It happened in UK. It is not no more the Labour Party. It's now it's no more the Conservative Party. It's not the Labour Party. They have voted spoke their voice and they abide the idea and vote the other party out. That's what is the beauty of democracy. But in Nigeria, they just like you corrected Judge, my friend, to stop calling people's names. We have problem here, we must solve it. But finally, there are two people I did not expect to see in the government of Ashwadi Tinubu in the people of May 29. Number one is former governor. Number two is the CEO of the NNPC. The problem of the economy of Nigeria is in the NNPC. Everyone who works with Buhari in the NNPC must go. And it's taken from the day one. And I tell you, the president must listen. No matter how they not think about the man here, let me find another person from the north and replace in the NNPC. All of them in that chain should go. So we have a new lease of life. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Reverend Dominic. I said that we also have Ambassador Innocent Nduanya on the line. He's Deputy President, National Youth Council of Nigeria. Okay. Ambassador Innocent, good morning to you.
I'm here.
Okay. Can you hear us? I just said good morning. Good morning to you, sir. Can you hear us?
Good morning. I can hear you very well.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Now, Ambassador Innocent Nduanya, you are of the organization National Youth Council of Nigeria. In fact, you're the deputy president. So let me ask of you the question, what do you think is going on with this thing that we are calling a protest, considering all that has transpired that I don't need to repeat? You, from that Youth Council of Nigeria, what is your perspective? What is your take on what is going on right now?
Well, thank you so much. And I want to say once again, good morning, Nigerians, and especially Nigerian youths who are the current and the future leaders of this country. Honestly, the Youth Council, under the leadership of our president, Ambassador Subo, we are not happy with the current happening in the country. Nobody, no true citizen of this country is happy with the current situation. The price of everything has escalated. The price of transportation has escalated. It is only a bad person that will say the economy is good. It's only a bad person. who does not live in this country, who does not think about the poor masses that will say things are okay in this country. We at the National Youth Council, we are not happy with everything. The price of everything has doubled times 100. The cost of transportation has doubled. The cost of living is on the high side. And most especially, you know, this thing affects the young people mostly. The major victim of what is happening currently in our country is the young people. They are not happy with the system. You cannot be building a system, a country for them, and they start suffering at the very tender age.
Okay, Ambassador, Mr. Ambassador Innocent Nduaya, do you endorse the protest the way it is out there now? That's the context in which I asked the question. What do you think is happening? What do you think is happening?
That is why it is good when an early warning information is given. Leadership should take correction and you know, get it right at the early stage. You know, when we had our first press conference, we told the president, we gave the president 74 hours to have a meeting with the leadership of Nigerian youth and the protesters. At least they say some of them are not known. Meanwhile, some are known. Shawara is there, Adeji is there, and the leadership of the council are there to mediate on behalf of Nigerian youth. Unfortunately, the people who are doing this protest, some of them, not all, some are doing this protest because they want a better country. But from what is happening since yesterday in some part of the northern country, in the northern part of our country, it is obvious that there are
Ambassador Innocent Nduaya, I understand that there's a network issue and you might not be hearing us. And whereas I understand what Innocent Nduaya, are you back? Okay. You know, it was you know, the network is a bit shaky. So I heard you. I heard you. I asked if you endorsed the situation out there now. But forgive me for thinking that you sidestepped the question when you were saying that nobody is happy about the conditions in the country. I agree with you. In fact, we take that as a given. Everybody, it is tight for everybody. But the degeneration into violence, the destruction, the looting, and all of that is going on now, forgive me, but I could be mistaken because you actually said that, well, this is, you know, what you get when people don't heed something. So I just wanted to be clear about that because if I got it right, you are of the National Youth Council of Nigeria. In fact, you're deputy president. And so I just wanted to know what you think about the criminal acts that are going on out there. Is that a matter of regret? Is that a matter of regret for you?
Every right-thinking Nigerian are not happy with the latest developments because what they call it is hunger strike. The people are agitating that things are not going well. But suddenly we saw people flying another country flag in our country. Okay. And that is a sign, and I think it is time to come back for dialogue. The president has already proposed a dialogue, and we are waiting for him. We are waiting for the president to meet with him so that he will tackle this issue once and for all.
All right. Okay, Engineer Daniel, I hear you. One moment. I beg your pardon. Engineer Daniel is on the line. I beg your pardon for interrupting you, Ambassador Nelson. Engineer Daniel in Abuja, good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yes, let me get your take on what this protest has turned to now as a citizen.
Thank you very much, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity. I think we must understand something as a country. Most times when things like this happen, we don't go to the root cause of the problem. We keep talking to the symptoms. And so that's why we'll continue from government to government. And the elites are really aware of the real cause of this problem. We have to be frank and brutal to ourselves if we love this country. I think what we have is a serious structural problem with this country. And one, we need to look at our reward system in this country. Two, the elite has to be honest. My happiness is that this thing is really happening at a time where everybody can obviously see that the problem with this country is not change of party or change of government. For example, how do you explain a reward system which keep explaining to the masses that it cannot afford 70,000 minimum wage, but we see our legislator living as the best, in fact, living the best life they've ever lived since they were born. So these are some of the things we really need to look at. And that's what is causing this protest. Quite frankly, it will be very difficult for you to convince somebody like me that this government cannot afford 100,000 minimum wage with this kind of lifestyle I see our politicians living. Secondly, we need to be honest again to ourselves. There's no need to pretend about this thing. If we are not one united country, let us accept it. It doesn't mean that if I say that I'm not the same person or I don't think the same way like the other person thinks, that I don't respect him. That's not true. So if we continue to force ourselves to accept each other, whereas we are not strong enough to match each other, I think that's going to be another problem.
Okay, I've got to come in there, and I want to thank you very much for calling in, Engineer Daniel. I interrupted you only because we've run out of time, and there still is. So I'm going to come to Comrade Nelson Ekujimi. Comrade, I'm going to put you under a stricture, maybe just in 30 seconds. Give me your takeaway, please. Okay, he's not there. Well, the same thing going to you, Ambassador Innocent Nduaya, Deputy President, National Youth Council of Nigeria. Just sorry for putting you under pressure. In 30 seconds, tell me what you make of all of this, where it has degenerated.
Well, for me, I think the president needs to address this country again. There is need to revert to the subsidy. If he's going to dance this station in our country, the president needs to do that.
To reverse the removal of subsidy. Did I get you right, sir?
For him to say that the price of petroleum has been reduced. Unfortunately, we didn't hear such thing. Okay. So the president needs to come on board again and tell Nigerians we have to revise the petroleum subsidy.
But do you know that there is no money for that subsidy? I'm sure you should know that there's no money for that subsidy.
The president just gave 570 billion to the governors after the allocation.
Okay.
There is money everywhere. Our leaders should stop deceiving us. There's money.
All right. We're going to have to leave it there. Well, thank you very much, Ambassador Innocent Nduaya, Deputy President, National Youth Council of Nigeria. And our thanks also to Comrade Nelson Ekujimi, who we've lost. And our thanks to the callers that came in on the program and also gave us their perspective, because I don't think anybody can see the road clearly now as to what exactly is going on with this protest that was started off as a 10-day protest against bad governance, which is an interesting caption altogether, but leave that as it is. It wasn't protest against a high cost of living. It wasn't protest against any of that, but bad governance. That's why some people think it was maybe political. We're going to have to leave it there. We'll pick it up again tomorrow if we can. Please join us then for a fresh edition of the program. I'm Yori Folari. Bye-bye for now.